Okay, hi there, it's Kim Willis again with the $1 Million Money Formula Challenge, Day 2 lesson, Create Your Instant Tribe. This one's pretty simple, straightforward. It'll be relatively brief because, well, there's not that much to say. But what I found is that the more obvious things are, at least to me, the less obvious they are to a lot of people, because we tend to complicate things, or at least some folks do. They tend to complicate things when the reality is that a lot of the best strategies are the simpler strategies. So let's start with your warm audience. I'd rather work with a warm audience than a cold audience any day of the week. Any day. Some people say, oh, I don't want to talk to my friends and family. Okay, well, I get that. I understand that. But the fact of the matter is that, you've probably got a warm audience, and some of the people in your warm audience are maybe going to buy. They're going to do business with you. That represents a much higher conversion rate than compared to going to the cold audience. Let's say we're running Facebook ads, or we're buying solo ads, or we're doing some offline things, or even at an extreme, cold calling people out of the phone book, phoning them out of the phone book, telemarketing, that type of thing. Well, gee, your conversion rates are going to be abysmal. So, warm audience is the best. Warm audience is the best. Now, the way we do it in the online world is, I guess there are some similarities. Yeah, there are some similarities to the traditional old-style way. If you join an MLM program, for instance, make a list of people that you know, and phone every single one of the 200 or 300 people you got on your list. But in the online world, it may be a bit different. And certainly the way I did it way back in 2006 was very different. I'm going to share with you the key strategy that I used. So, the reality is that in all probability, unless you've been living in Siberia for the last 3 years, you probably have a warm audience already. Okay, it could be offline, could be online, could be a combination of both. Probably that's the way it is. You already have a warm audience. Your warm audience is an unexploited asset. It's an asset. Because whether you're running a coaching business, consulting business, or you're promoting an affiliate offer, you're an MLM, something like that, it's all about people, isn't it? It's about people. You need people. You don't need capture pages and opt-in arrangements, or email follow-up systems and all of that. You need people. You need people. Like today, I saw an ad from a guy on Facebook, and he was promoting his new traffic plan. What does that mean? Traffic. That's a typical tech way of describing people, and that sickens me. It really does. It's nauseating. I can't stand that type of language. Forget about traffic. Let's put all of that language to one side and just say it's about people. You want eyeballs on your page if you've got a page. You want eyeballs on your posts if you're using Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or something like that. You want eyeballs, and each of those pair of eyeballs belong to a person. It's all about people. So let's forget all this stuff about traffic and all these other idiot words that these people concoct. It's about people. So your warm audience is an unexploited asset. Could be online or offline, or a combination of both. And it's always, as I said, it's always preferable to cold market activities. Why? Well, in the main, it's more pleasant, number one. Number two, the conversion rates are usually a lot higher. As long as you've got a little bit of posture with your warm audience, you've got a little bit of confidence with your warm audience, they believe in you to a certain extent, your conversion rates will invariably be higher, a lot higher in most instances. So this is what I did back in 2006. I wrote my top 25 list. I highlighted the best people on the list. I gave preference to those who had already shared their hot button or pain point with me, and they respected me. Okay? That was important. I know I've got more leverage if I talk to somebody who has some respect for me. They see me as a person who has a certain amount of authority, somebody who is worth listening to. Do you have people like that? Do you? Can you write a list of 25 people who are like that? I hope so. Not saying that you need to write a list of 100 or 200 people or 300 or whatever. You don't need that. You just need 25 people, and ideally you want at least, well, you want at least half of them half of the people on the list who have revealed their hot button or their pain point to you. If they haven't done that, well, what sort of relationship do you have with these people? May not be as strong as you think. If you're a good listener, if you take an interest in people, you should have a number of people, maybe only a small number, maybe half a dozen, maybe a dozen, maybe 15, something like that you know what turns them on, what keeps them awake at night, what are their concerns. You should know that. And if you don't, okay, well, maybe you need to rejig the way you communicate with people, care for people, and so on. Maybe you need to do that. I don't know. I'm just saying that you should have a bunch of people right now who respect you and who have shared some valuable information with you about their situation, their predicament, their pain. They hate their job. If you're promoting a business opportunity, they hate their job. If you're if you're a coach or something like that, personal relationship coach, okay, maybe you know some people who are stressed about that, about their relationships. They're not happy. Well, these are the people you want to start with, because you already know what their situation is. And that gives you a degree of psychological leverage with those people. Makes it a lot easier. You can really help those people. You can. And we're in the business of helping people, aren't we? But in a commercially oriented context. That's, we have to make money from this, but at the same time, we have to be delivering a good value and helping people solve their problems and achieve better outcomes, have a better tomorrow. That's what it's all about. So, can you write your top 25 list? People that you know quite well. Okay? People that you might have some leverage with. Think about this. Create your instant tribe. And that's exactly what I did. I wrote my 25 list. Did I contact every single person on that list? No, I didn't. I ended up not doing that. I didn't need to. I did good with the first 50% of them. And by then, other strategies were kicking in. They were starting to work, including advertising. Yes, I did use paid advertising for many years. For many years. I don't do paid advertising now. Very little. I don't need to. I think that the organic methods are ultimately better. But in the early stages, I'm telling you, this is what I did. But I did get some easy traction with people who were in my instant tribe, people who had some respect for me and who had revealed their pain to me. So I'm hoping that you've got some people like that within your circle of influence. I'm hoping. What if you don't? Well, okay. We have to, you still got to build your tribe. You do it on platforms like Facebook, and you cultivate people like that. Start out as perhaps what I might call a cold contact. You warm them up and you go through a process. But if you've already got some people, let's start there. Let's start there. That's what I did. And I shared with you the fact that I didn't make, I'm not saying I made huge money, but it was part-time, very much part-time. I just did it in the evenings, and I ended that first month with $9,200 in my bank account as my commission, as my net income. Now, some of that money came from advertising, from the ads that I was running on Google AdWords, but some of it came from this activity, my top 25 list. Yeah, and I can tell you that a higher percentage of it came from my top 25 list than came from the advertising. It was more than 50%. So it's worthwhile. I'm a big believer in it. I'm not going to shy away from it. But I'm not telling you to write a list of 100 or 200 people and just phone them like a robot. No, let's take a more mature approach, a more sophisticated approach, and just hone in on the top 25. Highlight the best people on that list. The people that you've got the leverage with, you know, their hot button, all of that, and then start there. Let's make it as easy and as quick as possible. Now, in sales, you're dealing with three types of people. Prospects. These are people who may be suitable for your offer but have not yet indicated a strong interest or have shared their pain point with you, or they don't qualify. What's qualification about? Well, it could be about the money. Let's boil it down here. It could be about the money. Not everybody qualifies on money. Not everyone qualifies on attitude. They're two big ones for me. They got the right attitude. They got a can-do mentality. If I'm building a team and I'm promoting a business opportunity type of thing, that's what I'm looking for. But I'm also looking for financial capacity. Do they have financial capacity? This is a really important issue. A lot of people are wasting a lot of time talking to so-called prospects who have no financial capacity. So there are certain, things that we can do to put the odds in our favor. I like to target people in first world countries. Doesn't mean to say there aren't great people in developing countries. There is. But you've got to do a huge amount of sifting in those countries. Not so much in the first world countries. All right? So if I'm promoting something that's going to cost people $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever it happens to be, or even $500, hey, we need to find people who have financial capacity. So qualification is very, very important. And not enough people spend time on it. They don't. I've seen them on Facebook where they have all these interesting and prolonged conversations with people, and they haven't even asked them in a roundabout way. You don't need to come straight out with it, but in a roundabout way, if they're financially okay at the moment. If I asked a series of questions and somebody told me that they got retrenched 3 months ago, and they're about to have their house repossessed, I mean, this is an extreme example, but they're not the sort of people I want to talk with. I can talk with, because unless I'm wanting to unless I have a Mother Teresa moment, I just want to help people for the heck of it. But at the end of the day, we have to run a business. And this might sound a bit hard-nosed to you, but my responsibility, my obligation is to help anybody who's going through this process to to build a business and to make their business more profitable. So you can have your Mother Teresa moments later. I do pro bono work every week with people. I do. People that have got a problem and maybe they need some marketing help and they haven't got the financial capacity to avail themselves of my mentoring packages, for instance. Okay, I'll do a one-off with them. I'll have a session with them. But I can afford to do that. In the early stages, I didn't do that because I had to build a business. I had to put food on the table, don't you? So let's get clear about this. We need to work with the right people, the people who can qualify, the people who can, well, for my type of business, they need to qualify financially, but they also need to qualify attitudinally. But the third area that they need to qualify in is to do with language proficiency. They need to be good at English because I teach tri-builder strategies, which is a lot of it is to do with communication skills using using English. I'd love to be able to help people from other countries who don't speak very good English, but I can't. So why would I spend all this time with people who aren't going to receive maximum benefit from my programs, my products, that are all voiced in English? Just think about it. Just use common sense here. The world is a big place, and sometimes people think that because it's the internet, the world is their oyster. It is not. It is not your oyster. The world is comprised of different communities, different tribes, different countries, and so on. Focus on the main game. The main game is probably going to consist of people in your country. You may spread your wings a bit later on, but focus on your country. Focus on people who can communicate well in English, in all probability. And thirdly, they have the financial capacity to do business with you. It's okay if you're selling a $30 widget, but it's hard to make money from the sale of $30 widgets. What if you've got a program that you've got a package and it's a $1,000 package or a $5,000 package? How are people in some of these other jurisdictions, how are they going to afford a $5,000 package? I have some people to say to me, even affiliates of mine for my Tri-Builder Core program, they say, well, it's okay if I just make the front end sale and I make a $40 or a $50 commission. It's okay. No, it's not okay. It's not okay if that's all you're focused on. Sure, you want to help people, but what about helping yourself? So I'd be more inclined to talk to people who've got the financial capacity not only buy the entry-level product, but to upgrade into something more specialized, more intensive, and more performance-oriented. And that might, in my instance, it'd be a coaching program, a mentoring program, something like that. Because I know that the success rates with people who avail themselves of mentoring programs are far higher than it is for people who just buy, the basic do-it-yourself entry-level program. So that's it. There you go. Prospects. It was a bit of a ramble, but gives you a bit more perspective. Leads. They have an interest in your product or opportunity, and they qualify. You might call them qualified leads. Okay. I guess I could break this into 4 types of people. But just to keep it simple, just talking about leads, but we're really looking for qualified leads. They qualify. They qualify. For me, it's English proficiency, number 1. Not necessarily number 1, not necessarily in that order, but English proficiency, attitude, can-do attitude, persistent, positive people, and finally, the money. Customers, of course, they have bought your product, but you're not going to get to number 3 if you don't get this number 1 and number 2 sorted. And although I'm not spending a huge amount of time on it today, let me tell you that this issue of targeting the right people is critically important. In fact, as I record this, I am in the process of constructing a training, reasonably advanced training on target marketing, specifically for my affiliates, because I recognize that this is an issue for a lot of people, and we need to solve this problem. We need to solve it by giving people, in my instance, the affiliates, the solutions. It's up to them whether they use them. I can't force people to be successful. If they choose to continue on doing the same old stuff, that's fine. But but don't turn around and blame me, you know. But I'm only half joking. But the point is that we want to, if we're going to move to a higher ground, we have to work smarter, not necessarily harder. Okay, and targeting is critically important, and understanding these key concepts of prospects, leads, customers is also vital. Okay, 2 tips. Bring on your multipliers. Bring on your multipliers. So for the next few lessons, I'm going to give you 1 or 2 tips, try-building tips. And I've extracted them from a series that I recorded not that long ago, about a year ago. And it was about, the topic of the series was how to build a cult-like following in your business. A cult-like following. Okay, now when people hear the word cult, it has all sorts of weird and wonderful connotations, right? It does. We think of crazy cults that go around killing their flock and all the rest of it. That's what I think anyway. But the fact of the matter is that some of the promoters or hucksters who have built cults have used some quite incredible strategies. So if we can clean them up and make them wholesome, we can use those strategies to build our business. All right. So that's what these 2 tips are about. And the next lesson, I'm going to feature another 1 or 2 tips from this series that I recorded. I started recording a year ago. Okay. So this is the first one. Bring on your multipliers. Think of a few key people who can support you as you build your tribe. Okay, there's a typo there, but don't worry about it. Bring on your multipliers. Now, when I started a Facebook group 2 years ago, using these techniques, I decided that before I opened the group, I would talk to a few people that I knew. Okay. People that had some respect for me, and I told them about this idea that I had to open a Facebook group to build a community, and I gave them a little benefit that if they supported it, they would get this kind of an outcome. They would get a lot of kudos and authority flowing back to them if they could introduce other people that they knew, to my new group. I gave them admin rights. That was another thing, so to make them feel part of this project. Okay, and I did a few other things besides, and they supported it. All of them supported it. 1 or 2 of them supported it wholeheartedly. And the fact of the matter is that when I kicked off that group, and I think it was around August 2016, they started adding people to the group more or less straight away. And it didn't take long to get 500 members in that group. It might have taken 2 or months or so. Okay, I didn't document it. I guess I should have, but it grew quite quickly. And a few months later, it reached 1,000 members, and so on. Now, the growth of that group, in the early stages at least, was significantly dependent, or because of, the support that I had from my multipliers. sometimes I call them the inner circle. People that I recruited, people that I enrolled them in the vision for this group, for this tribe building activity, and they bought into it. They liked it. They liked the idea of congregating, collaborating, and let's see if we can bring some people into this thing and influence them, and we teaching them about marketing and tribe building strategies and attraction marketing and so on. All good stuff. No pitching, no links, nothing like that. And that gave my multipliers confidence that I wasn't going to try and get at their people. They had trust in me. That's important. They had trust. So bring on your multipliers. That's a great idea. So it means that you don't have to be doing all of the work yourself. You don't. You can have a few people, maybe it's only 2 or 3, it doesn't matter so much. You have 2 or 3 people, and these people support you, and they will recruit or introduce their people to your community, to your Facebook group, or whatever it happens to be. And as long as you can give them a win outcome, there's got to be something in it for them, okay, in terms of, more authority, more posture, because they've been introduced to a group that is very much a discussion group, it's very much a helpful group, a value-added group, and they're bringing people into the group that has those kinds of philosophies. It's got to be a good thing. It's got to be a good thing, and of course people can set up their own group if they want. But when I was talking to these people that I knew, I said, well, look, you can set up your own group. But I just somehow think that it's better to work on the basis that there is strength in numbers. Let's collaborate. If you want to do your own thing later on, fine, no problem. I've got no problem with that. But let's collaborate for the next 3 to 6 months and see what sort of an outcome we can produce. And that's what I did. Number 2, push back. To fully succeed at tribe building, you need to identify the opposing forces that constrain your followers from reaching their goal. The more effective you are at articulating and promoting a message that pushes back against these forces, the faster your tribe will grow. Now this is pretty powerful stuff. This is, in a way, it's kind of advanced. It's potent. To fully succeed at tribe building, you need to identify the opposing forces that constrain your followers from reaching their goal. What are those forces? What are they? Well, for instance, if I am teaching organic, free tribe building strategies, I am up against other forces. I'm against forces that are teaching funnel building strategies using complicated software. I'm against forces that promote Facebook ads, for instance, another complicated strategy. I'm against people who promote solo ads, just set and forget, just pay some money, and the solo ad provider will just send traffic to their list, and hey presto, you've got all of these opt-ins, you've got all these leads, you're building your list. Of course the problem is that no one is buying from the list, but who cares? Hey, let's stroke our ego. Oh, I've got 600 people on my list now from solo ads. Oh, whoop-de-doo. How many people have bought? Oh, none yet. Okay, fine. So these are the forces. Sometimes I call them the forces of evil. Look, they're not evil in reality. They're not evil. They have a point of view. They're trying to flog something. They're trying to promote something. And fine. I just think they're wrong. That's it. And so I will stand my ground. I will stand my ground, and I will promote the concept of tribe building strategies using free organic methods. I'll promote it with strength, courage, and vigor. I will do that. And I do it every day. So let's look at the second sentence there. The more effective you are at articulating and promoting a message that pushes back against these forces, the faster your tribe will grow. That is right. That is right. When you have a clear vision and then you can articulate that vision to your people, that will enthuse them to support you, to attract other people to the cause. This is powerful stuff. This is powerful, potent, and in a way it's vital. It's vital. So, let's read it again. To fully succeed at tribe building, you need to identify the opposing forces that constrain your followers from reaching their goal. And certainly in the internet space, these opposing forces are rampant. They are. And they're about taking in a bunch of money from people, a lot more than what we take, compared to what we take from people. My entry-level Tribe Builder Core product is, well, if you compare it on a like-for-like basis, it's probably the cheapest thing on the market at the moment. But I know that I'm up against these other forces that not only are asking for more money, but they're asking for more money so that people can learn a strategy that is not right. It's not right, particularly if they're newbies. They haven't made their first 50 grand online or whatever. You don't need complicated strategies in the early stages. You need to master the simple strategies, and then you can move on to some of these strategies and have take a multifaceted approach to marketing, which is what I tend to do. But for newbies, we need to keep it dead simple. All right. Now, you want to build a tribe? Identify the opposing forces. Do that. And then construct a message or a messaging strategy designed to push back against those opposing forces. That's all I'm saying. But it's an incredibly important message. And although you may not completely get it right now, which is understandable, completely understandable, although you may not completely get it right now, if you review this lesson over the next few months, you may say that, wow, this stuff is powerful. Really powerful. And I'm telling you, it will help you to move to the next level. No doubt about it. Once you fully understand it and embrace it. It's a very simple concept, but it takes a lot of us, it takes time to fully embrace it, so that it becomes core to our very being, if you like. So, that's the lesson. Let's get back to the core issue here. Create your instant tribe. Focus on existing assets. What do you need to do? Well, I gave you the clue, didn't I? Name your top 25 prospects, online or offline. Segment them into a sub-list of people who have revealed their pain point to you, their pain to you, and then you report it in the group. Now, if you cannot identify this sub-list, the point 2 sub-list that I'm talking about here, okay, not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. If you don't, you write a list of 25 people and you don't have anybody that you can name as, where you don't have anyone on that list that who have shared their pain or their hot button with you, okay, well, you need to take another approach. So we'll still work with the 25, but we're going to take another approach. I'm going to be sharing this approach with you. So this is for the people who, what we might call the great unwashed. These are people who have not revealed a lot to you, even though you feel you know them well. In reality, you probably don't know them as well as you think you do, but you feel that you know them well. We have an approach for that group of people as well. So the absolute minimum thing that you must do is write your top 25 prospect list, online or offline. Okay? People on Facebook, that's online. People offline, well, you know who they are, don't you? So you've got to do that. You've got to do number one as the minimum, and then you can look and see, well, okay, do I know what these people's goals are? Do I know what keeps them awake at night? Do they hate their job? Have they got health concerns if you're promoting a health product? If there's relationship issues, if you're a relationship coach, as I've said before, whatever it is, think about your specific niche. What are the pain points associated with that niche? And do the people on your 25 list, do any of them, or have any of them revealed their pain point, their niche specific pain point to you? Okay. So, as I say, at the very least, name your top 25, but ideally, I'd love it if you could segment it into a sub-list of people who reveal their pain point, their hot button, their issues to you at some point in the past. All right, that's the end of day 2. Day 3, it's another marketing-oriented lesson, and I think you're going to like that one as well, but let's just finish off right now. This is Kim Willis. Bye for now.